Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. My name is AJ, and in this video I'm going to be talking about 10 main reasons why the USA is the main winner in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. It doesn't matter who wins between Russia and Ukraine. There are 10 main reasons why USA is the winner. So before I start, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Really appreciate your help. And if you can support the channel, you're welcome to join my Patreon. Channels such as mine need your help in this, and also you can buy me a coffee as well. So without further ado, let's start with the show. So the number one reasons why USA is the main winner between the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that got cancelled. Technically it's not been cancelled, technically it's been put on hold. But I never see it becoming on hold in the future or unheld, because USA is not going to allow it. Germany has become again a puppet government of the USA. When Merkel was around, at least she was standing up against the Americans, but this Scholz seems to be very much a puppet guy and very much a puppet government, and already Germany has ruined all the years and years of good relationships they had with Russia, and I don't think with this government Germany will ever have good relationships with Russia. So this pipeline is never going to happen. It's never going to be signed off. So America is the main winner in this, and this is what they always wanted. They wanted Nord Stream 2 to be cut off because they didn't want Germany to grow closer with Russia. They didn't want Germany to be reliant on Russia, and they wanted Germany to buy, the more expensive gas and oil from the United States instead. So that's the main reason. Number two reason: USA guarantees Europe will buy its oil, its gas, and its agriculture. So, as you know, Russia provides Europe with a lot of oil, a lot of gas, and he also provides Europe with a lot of wheat, fertilizer. Even Ukraine provides Europe with a lot of wheat as well. So all of that stuff will have to be sourced elsewhere, and USA is where everyone's going to be looking at. And USA is going to be providing them with oil, with gas. Obviously it's more expensive, so it suits American companies more, and America will provide the wheat and all the fertilizer and all the grain and whatever Europe requires. So that is a win-win for American farmers, American oil companies, and that's another win on why America is a winner. Number three: America got Germany to cut ties with Russia. So this is a big win for America. Over the last 10 years, when Merkel was around, she was building up very close ties with Russia, good relationship. They are a very good trading partner. There's a lot of businesses that trade back and forth between Germany and Russia, and they were growing closer and closer every year. Scholz, the new guy, has come on board, and he's destroyed that relationship, and all within a matter of few months, and pretty much destroyed the economy based on him being a puppet. He's very much a puppet government of whatever Biden says he seems to do. It doesn't seem to have a mind of its own, and I'm sorry to say Germany is on its way down because of him. He has affected Germany's economy, and America wanted this all along. They wanted Germany to stay down. They don't want Germany to be powerful. They don't want Germany to rise again. So they keep Germany down. Now Germany has to buy more expensive gas, more expensive oil from the United States, more expensive agriculture from the United States. And now also Germany has announced they're going to increase their military budget, so they're going to be buying more expensive weapons from the United States. German companies are not going to be doing very well because they're going to have lower and lower profit margins because of all the high costs of gas and electricity and raw materials. So German companies are not going to be as competitive as Chinese companies, for example, or American companies. So Germany is not going to grow in terms of GDP anytime soon. So it's not looking good for Germany, and this is what USA has wanted. So this whole episode between Russia and Ukraine, the rest of Europe is pretty much horrified, and other countries in Europe which are not part of NATO, and I'm talking about Finland and Sweden, are now looking to join NATO because of Russia's actions in Ukraine. Russia's been made to look like the bad guys, and so countries like Sweden and Finland are looking to join as soon as possible because they see joining NATO is a guarantee that they'll be safe and they're not going to be invaded. One of the problems Ukraine had is that Ukraine is not part of NATO, so because of this war, NATO is not allowed to join in this war, even though they are giving weapons to Ukraine, sending weapons across, which is not really advisable, to be honest, and I've got my views on that. But countries like Finland and Sweden, I can see them joining NATO over the next few years, and Russia's not going to be happy about it at all if this happens, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, all of this episodes has actually emboldened the Europeans together, and a lot of these countries now will look to join NATO. And not only that, NATO will probably have a bigger budget because a lot of these countries will start putting more money into these NATO forces because of what they're seeing between Russia and Ukraine. And that's good news for America, which means America can sell more weapons to NATO countries and make more money for their military industrial complex. America has won the information war, and America has shown the world again they are the good guys and Russia are the bad guys, and all of the media around the world is painting Russia to be the bad guys. They forget to mention the reasons why Russia has gone into Ukraine. No paper will cover that. The only thing that people see is Russia invading Ukraine. No reasons whatsoever. Just go and invade Ukraine. Russia's the bad guys. They are the ones that are being aggressive. They are the ones that are invading Ukraine with no reason. They are the ones killing civilians. They are the ones taking Ukrainian land. That's how people are portraying Russians. And every single Russian in all over the world is being affected by this. Every single Russian. It's very similar to how Muslims got treated. Very similar to how Chinese get treated. You know, the actions of a few people means the whole race gets villainified. So basically, you know, September 11th, a few Saudis blew up a plane against, you know, the towers, and people thought all the Muslims around the world are terrorists. Then the world start picking on the Chinese. They start blaming the Chinese for the coronavirus and other things. And now every single Russian is being blamed. You have people who are in the Olympics being kicked out. You have players who are playing football are being kicked out of the leagues and European competitions. They are sanctioning all rich Russians all over the world who have nothing to do with this. They are sanctioning people like Roman Abramovich. Now he's forced to sell Chelsea because of this. There's Russian products being taken out the shelves. There's stories about Russian vodka being taken out of supermarkets. This reminds me of when France was against the first Iraq war, and all of the shops in America, all of the restaurants, they start calling French fries and turning it into freedom fries. And it's absolutely ridiculous. All of this stuff is coming from America. You know, when one person does something bad, the whole race gets blamed for it. And this all stems from the Americans, and now is spreading throughout Europe as well. And you see what's happening. There is a huge anti-Russian war going on in the media. And, you know, and every single Russian in all over the world is affected. You know, Russians can't travel to Europe or to America anymore. You know, they're banned from travel. They've got no-fly zones all over, you know, Europe, all over America. Their boats are not allowed to ship in the docks. So you see, they placed all these ridiculous sanctions, and these sanctions don't really affect the government that much. They affect the people. So they're targeting the people, they're targeting the Russian people. And I just don't think it's right at all. You know, there's a lot of people who've got nothing to do with this war between Russia and Ukraine. And they are being punished for it. And I just don't think it's fair at all. And this is why America is winning the information war. And people in America, you got Hillary Clinton who's saying we should ship weapons to Ukrainians like they did to Afghanistan. Britain's going to be doing it, Germany's going to be doing it, the rest of Europe's going to be doing it. Have they forgotten about September 11th? Do they not remember what happened when they armed the Mujahideens in Afghanistan to fight against the Russians? These Mujahideens, you know, turned into the Taliban or got taken over by the Taliban, and Afghanistan became a terrorist training hub because of all of this. So do they not look at the consequences of what could happen if you arm such groups? Then you have all of these people in the press, in newspapers. I've been reading about implementing a no-fly zone all over Ukraine. No-fly zone? Do you know what would happen if a Russian airplane gets shot down by a NATO missile? It will start World War III. Do you think that Russia's going to sit down and take it? You know, already, you know, weapons are being sent to Ukraine to fight Russians. And that in itself is a declaration of war. Can you imagine when USA invaded Iraq and USA invaded Afghanistan? Can you imagine what would happen if Russia and China were actively arming the Iraqis to fight against the Americans, or arming the Afghanis to fight against the Americans? Do you know what would happen? America would declare war against China or war against Russia. So these countries are actively, you know, making this worse, escalating this war. And if they enable a no-fly zone as well and start shooting down Russian airplanes, then, you know, Russia's not going to take it lying down. It will escalate, and one thing will lead to another, and that's it. Nuclear war. Do these reporters not care about that or think about the consequences? You're not fighting Afghanistan, you're fighting Russia with 6,000 nuclear warheads. So let that sink in. I also want to add that nobody in America is talking about the coronavirus anymore. Nobody in America is talking about the economy. Nobody's talking about the inflation. And nobody's talking about what sad state the American economy is. Biden has found a way out, basically. He's using this as a distraction from his own failings, and he has failed bad. Biden has literally destroyed the whole American economy. The inflation's through the roof. Interest rates are up. Taxes are up. You know, the living standards in America has gone worse. America is doing really badly. Its GDP is not growing, and everything's going up. All the prices are going up, and America's got a huge amount of debt to pay as well. So he's got a huge amount of domestic issues, and this is a welcome sight for him. He would welcome crises like this happening in Ukraine, in Russia, even though most people don't know where exactly on the map Ukraine is, and not many Americans really care. This has been a very welcome distraction for him, and no media report in America is reporting about his own failings anymore. It's all about Ukraine, Russia bad, and this is why America's winning the information war. Anyway, number 6. I mentioned earlier about Finland and Sweden joining NATO. Well, number 6 is about the other NATO countries who are going to increase their military spending, especially countries like Germany, who have announced they will increase their defense spending and they will buy weapons from America, and all the other NATO countries will also buy weapons from America. And especially after seeing what they've seen with Ukraine and Russia, they will pretty much double their military spending after this, and Americans will be rubbing their hands with glee because they will gladly sell their weapons to the Europeans and to NATO. So another winner, the military-industrial complex, and America is laughing all the way to the bank because of it. Number 7. Sanctions will slow the development of Russia and deny China a powerful ally. So everybody knows that a powerful China and a powerful Russia is a match for anyone. And indeed, it's more than a match for America. So America knows it cannot fight China and Russia together if there was ever a war, whether it's in an economical sense or whether it's a military sense. It cannot do that. So America has been trying to split Russia and China for a long time. And they've been trying since the 1970s when Nixon went and persuaded China to go against Russia, which is a decision China regrets because they've realized that America is not to be trusted. And time again, America has stabbed China in the back. They have abused the One China policy time and time again, and China has learned a big lesson. America is not a partner to be trusted. So it's taken years of work to get China and Russia together again, building a good relationship, building a relationship which is more powerful than an ally, more powerful than friends. So they know together they are more than a match for anyone in the world, including America and all its allies put together. So China and Russia know that. America has been trying to put seeds of distrust and trying to break the relationship for years. They've tried it with China. They've tried it for years. They've been blaming China for all of these coronavirus. They've been blaming China for lab leaks. They've been talking about ridiculous claims about people in concentration camps. They've been trying to get the Taiwan province to go independent. They've been pushing for that. They've been trying to start riots in Hong Kong. They're trying to get the people in Tibet to stand up as well. So America's been trying everything it can to disrupt China, disrupt the friendship between China and Russia, and it's failed all over the years. And then America's looked at Ukraine and looked at Russia, and they thought to themselves, okay, we've tried all of these tactics, and China has not gone out of place. China has been very, very cool and calm under pressure. So let's try and destabilize Russia instead. Let's try and provoke them into doing something stupid. And Russians are not like the Chinese. Russians have very, very short-tempered. They don't think long-term like the Chinese do. Chinese are a lot more calmed, collected, and they're very good thinkers, while Russians go with their emotions. And I've noticed a lot of Russians in UK, for example, they have a very, very short temper. They tend to go with their emotions, and it's not hard to provoke the Russians, and that's what the Americans have done, and that's what NATO have done. They provoked Russia into doing what they've done. Even though Russia had legitimate reasons for going into Ukraine and legitimate security reasons, unfortunately, the most of the world thinks Russia are the bad guys, and America is pretty much smiling, and they got what they wanted. So this is basically going to affect the Russian economy. It's not going to grow as fast. My opinion is it will affect the Russian economy in the short term, but in the long term, the Russian economy will become better for it, because they will diversify a lot of their trade with China and other friendly countries. The Europeans will still need oil and gas, and they'll have to buy that from Russia, but at a more expensive price, because the price of oil and gas is going up every single day. And as of today, I think it's gone up to $118 a barrel, which is the highest I've ever known. But a lot of people saying it's been higher in the past, but it's going to go higher and higher. So Russia is laughing, and Russia can do a lot of things. They can force Europeans to buy gas and oil using the ruble. They can sell a lot of gas and oil to India. They can direct a lot of the gas that's going to Europe towards India with pipelines. So that's an option. Or they can put more pipelines to China. So you see Russia has options. Russia is not Turkey. Russia is not Iran. Russia is not Venezuela. Russia has a trade surplus. It exports more than it imports. And when you're a country and you export more than you import in, that means having a ruble that's priced lower is actually better for your country, because you will make more money than you lose. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is just basic economics. You're welcome to Google it or check out other economics channels. Turkey cannot do this because Turkey has a trade deficit, which means it imports more than it exports. So that's why Turkish lira has gone all the way down, and there's hyperinflation in Turkey, and there are issues in Turkey. But Turkey doesn't really have the options. Russia has a lot of options to combat this. Unfortunately, in the short term, Russia's economy will suffer because there are a lot of businesses, a lot of finances going out of Russia, stop trading with Russia, and Russian businesses will suffer in the long term. But I think they will ride this storm, and we'll see in the next maybe 1 year how they bounce back. And I'm sure they will bounce back. Probably not even going to take a year. I think they'll bounce back within 6 months. Anyway, I digress, and I'll go back to my previous point. The USA has achieved its goal of slowing down Russia's economy, which means even if it's a short-term slowness, Russian economy will be affected, and which means a lot of money will have to go into the Russian economy to try and fix it, rather than it going into the military, for example. So Russia will suffer in the short term, but in the long term they'll be fine. But USA has won the war in the short term. Number 8. This has proved Europe cannot do anything without the USA, and this will prove NATO is required and a European army is dead in the water. So Emmanuel Macron has been trying to start a European army for a long time, and he was trying to do something in replacement of NATO, and this has pretty much thrown that idea into the water. This whole event has made NATO much stronger. The Europeans have realized they need NATO and they need the Americans. So this European army is pretty much dead in the water, and this is exactly what the USA wanted as well. So that's another big win for the USA. Number 9. USA has brought Europe together, and they have coordinated sanctions, and this has proved to the world that USA is still a major power to be feared, and they can destroy any economy with its allies and with its unilateral targeted sanctions, with eyes on any country that misbehaves, and especially to China. So basically, USA has shown its power without using its military. It can round up all of its allies together and place unilateral sanctions, and these sanctions are done very, very quickly without UN approval. USA doesn't go through the UN anymore, and it stopped going through the UN for a long time, and USA has been doing these unilateral sanctions for a long time with its allies. And who needs the UN anymore? It's just become a debating society, and when the USA can pretty much do what it wants, its allies can do what it wants. There's still an issue. USA has shown it's still very, very powerful. It's got a lot of say what happens around the world, and any country that misbehaves gets sanctioned by the USA and its allies. And these sanctions are pretty strong and pretty severe. While in Russia it might not be affected, they are looking at China. So if any war happens in the Taiwanese Strait with the Taiwanese province, then the USA and its allies are looking at doing the same sort of sanctions to China as well. So as a summary, USA has sent out a big message to the rest of the world: do not misbehave, or we will come after you with war. If not war, we will do something even worse. We will place these sanctions against your country, and your country is just not going to grow. And that was a message that USA wanted to send out to the rest of the world, including China, and it has succeeded. Finally, number 10. The coordinated sanctions and all of the actions by the West will embolden places like the province of Taiwan. They will know that if they decided to be independent one day, the West will support them. And if China tried to take them by force, the West would pretty much do the same sort of sanctions to China. And the Chinese economy will be heavily affected. Not only the Chinese economy would be heavily affected, the whole world's economy would be affected, because the whole world needs China for its goods. So it doesn't matter, because you have all of these separatists in Taiwan. They're looking at the Ukraine situation. They look at how Russia is portrayed as the bad guy. The Ukrainians are portrayed as the good guys. The Ukrainians are being portrayed like they are brave. They are, they're getting standing ovations in Parliament in the USA. They're getting standing ovations. They're getting, standing ovations in UK, standing ovations in Europe. So the Taiwanese are looking at that, and they must be thinking, yeah, we want that. We want a standing ovation. Maybe we should go independent next, because we want to be like heroes like the Ukrainians. So I believe this is going to force Taiwan to go independent even more. There's going to be a lot of people in Taiwan who want to be like the Ukrainians. They want to be classed as heroes in the West, and they want the West to come and save them. They want sanctions on China. They want to destroy Chinese economy, and also, they want the West to come and help them whenever they want independence. So the place Taiwan is looking at this very closely, and they can see all of the West is pretty much ganging up on Russia. The people around the world are ganging up on Russia. They're making Russia look like the bad guys. And if they want, they can do the same thing to China if their war over the Taiwanese Strait ever breaks out. So you see, I think all of the allies of America and separatists in the Taiwanese Strait and all of these friends of America who are looking at this situation very closely, and I think this will embolden them even more, and they can see the support the Americans and the West and the Europeans are giving to Ukraine, and the Taiwanese separatists will probably want the same thing. So I worry that this will embolden them, and this will strengthen them to go towards the West rather than the East. It will strengthen them to declare independence sooner rather than later, and that is a big win for USA as well. So it was a big loss with Afghanistan, the way Americans left Afghanistan, and a lot of its friends were thinking, are we with the right partner here? The Americans here seem to be, leaving their friends behind. But from this Ukraine situation, America has won the information war, and they've been made to look like the good guys. And the friends around the world would want to be part of the West even more after seeing this, and less likely with the East. So unfortunately, as bad as that sounds, so you see, these are the main 10 reasons why America has won the war without even firing a weapon between Russia and Ukraine, and why America is the biggest winner here. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any other reasons why, let me know. Or if you disagree with any of the reasons, let me know. I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.